Hello and welcome to NPTEL's course on communication skills. We are on module number 8, lecture number 2, and this module is exclusively on interview skills. In the previous lecture, already I talked about some of the misconceptions of interview skills, and then I gave you the overall frame of the discussion that's going to happen in the whole module. So, it's planned that we'll start with clearing some misconceptions about interview, followed by what is an interview, and then preparation for an interview. In the first lecture, if you recollect and remember, we did the first 2 points, and I just started about preparation, and then I said that I'll talk more in detail about preparation in this lecture. In this lecture, we'll do about preparation, and then we'll just try to analyze some of the keys to success in interviews, and in the following lectures, we'll talk about attending an interview, the actual thing that happens within the closed walls, and then closing an interview and some post interview functions. Now, keep this in mind that some misconceptions that happen in interview, like for instance, you have a good resume and then you get the job for sure. So, I said that that's not true, because resume is just like a passport, and then you still need to get your visa to enter into that country. So, that visa will be your performance in the interview. And there are certain other misconceptions like if I look good, I will be automatically through in the interview. Good looks alone will not help. Same thing, people think that if I am a 10-pointer, then I am going to have a definite cakewalk in the interview. No, there are many 10-pointers, many gold medalists who are rejected just because they have poor communication skills and they lack soft skills. Now, keeping that in mind, I said that if you really want success in any interviews, I said that you think of 3 P's, okay, P's that will actually give you peace of mind. So, the 3 P's that I talked about was plan or planning for the interview, and then preparing for the interview, where I stopped in the previous lecture, and I said I will continue about that in detail in this, and then practice. So, in a sense, we will talk more on practice in the coming modules, particularly the coming lectures of this module. Now, to continue with the preparation aspect of the interview, I just quoted with an interview with a quote from some positive thinkers, where they say that first it is planning and then it is preparation, and planning combined with preparation along with practice is the thing that is going to ensure success in an interview. Now, how do you prepare for the interview? Look at another relevant quote from Norman Vincent Peale, again the author of The Power of Positive Thinking. Any fact facing us is not as important as our attitude toward it, for that determines our success or failure. Any fact facing us is not as important as our attitude toward it, for that determines our success or failure. Now, the fact that you are going to confront interview, you are going to attack, now that's a fact, but your attitude toward it, are you thinking that you will emerge successfully with flying colors, or are you thinking that you may fail somehow miserably? Now, look at these points. Successful interviewing begins with preparation. Now, this preparation itself has 4 components. First one is knowing the company, then after knowing the company, or even simultaneously knowing yourself, knowing the questions beforehand, preparing for the questions of your own even before going to the interview. So, knowing the company, know yourself, know the questions, and then prepare for the questions of your own. These are basic levels in which you can prepare. Different books written on interviews will deal with the same aspects at different level, but generally if you identify that one aspect is related to the company, another aspect is related to you yourself in terms of preparation, and then the corollary aspects are related to the questions. The questions that will come from the employer side that you can keep in mind and prepare, and the questions that you should be asking yourself and you should be asking the employers. So, you can see the components. It's a kind of vis-a-vis between you and the employer. So, you should know the employer's company, organization thoroughly. You should know also about yourself thoroughly, and you should be ready with the questions. So, it is again surprising to some when I say that you should be ready with the questions, because many people think that these are the questions that they will be expecting in the interview, but there are certain stock questions, standard questions, which one can actually ask oneself, train oneself, be thorough with some ready-made good answers, very impressive answers, and unique answers one can also prepare and be ready. Now, first about knowing the company. Now, about the company, make sure that you research the company that you are interviewing with so many background details as possible, so that you can ask and answer questions intelligently. Know as much track record of the company as possible. If it is a new company, at least a 5 years track record. If it is an established one, even you can go for 50 years, 100 years. Even the performance at the first year when it was started, and then how it improved in the next 10 years, and so on. If you have a statistical analysis, if you have data related to that, if you have charts related to the performance, that is well and good. So, try to make sure that you research the company thoroughly. And how do you research? So, before I go to that part, why should you do this research? Because when you research, you know much about the company, and when you know more about the company, you develop a kind of knowledge that is going to be quite relevant whether you are joining or not, in terms of you being a very useful employer to the company. So, you know much about the company, even sometimes you know certain things which even the interviewers are not aware of. So, that will really impress the people who are going to interview. Knowledge is power. So, you know, and then you already have some power which will also instill so much of confidence in you. How can you do the research? There are variety of ways. One, as usual, go to the library, any standard library or any library that is housing the books related to that company. Look for general books, especially in management section you will have lot of case analysis if it is even a good company. Look for books, look for periodicals, that is journals, which will publish research articles. So, look for them, and look for magazines also. Magazines would cover up, suppose the CEO has won the best CEO of the year some year. So, there is an interview, there is a talk about the company, there is a small data presented there in that magazine based on the research done by a journalist and so on. So, collect all the information so that you know about the company first hand. Then you can also get this kind of information from the literature which are available in the public relations department. So, they prepare very good brochure, booklets, which they can give it to the public free of cost. So, you go to the public relations department and get those booklets, pamphlets, leaflets, and then just make an analysis of the company. Apart from that, there are annual reports. Either you go collect it from the accountant, from the public relationship officer, or contact a person who has some shares with the company, ask the person to share the annual reports. So, the person will be very happy to share, because somebody is happy that you are taking that institute, organization, company, firm seriously and you are thinking of joining. So, the person will happily share the information with you. And today's information age, where technology has advanced so much, we do not have to worry about even going to library and physically being present and collecting the information. We can use this electronic sources of information. So, the electronic sources using internet, for instance, googling out things, you just type in Google the company's name, you may get hundreds of links. Have your own time, click all the links, check everything, download all the materials that are relevant, create a folder. Even if you want to have some kind of crisp information, even create it in the form of a PowerPoint, present it before your friends, seek their opinion about the company, make them ask questions related to the company. You behave like the CEO of the company and start answering their questions. So, you are thorough, you are update with the company. As I said, this is one mechanism that is going to instill a lot of confidence in you, but at the same time you are also knowing the company, and then you are off way towards mastering that interview skill in terms of the knowledge component. Now, even if you do not get any of these records, or even if you get all of the records, then also try to seek somebody whom you can interview, who is there as part of the organization. Now, sometimes these people will give you very vital information which will make you decide whether you should join the company or you should not join. So, they may say, for instance, do not join, they will put you in remote areas. If you are interested in going to remote areas, fine, otherwise you will be just sent to some desert. So, are you willing to join? So, these kind of inside information, or somebody is telling that I am stuck because my CV is very bad, I am not able to leave this place, but you seem to have wonderful CV. So, think twice whether you should just spend the next 5 years, because they are going to take a bond from you and there is no other way. So, decide whether you should give a bond to the company and spend the next 5 years there. Is it worthwhile, or do you have better qualifications and should go for the other company? So, catch somebody to give you that inside information based on their first hand experience. That will also help you to assess your future relationship with the company. Should you be part of them, or should you distance yourself at this stage itself, so as to safeguard your own interest and career. Now, know the company further in terms of the company's products. If you are going to be selected in the marketing section, sales section, it is very important that you know what they are manufacturing, what is it that they are dealing with, what are the products that they are selling. Now, how is it structured? Who is the controlling person? Whom should you report to? Or is it in the form of small groups, teams, that you are responsible only to the team manager, or is it a manager to whom all of you report? So, identify the structure, the kind of services that they are offering to the public sector and then to other government organizations. What kind of services and what is the financial status? Now, if the company will go on loss, is there some kind of asset backup? So, what kind of loyalty program they have for the employees? If even if the company goes completely bankrupt, do they have sufficient funds to back up their employees? So, identify the financial status, identify especially their competitors, because there could be questions even related to that. They can even ask you, if you are given a job offer to that company, so would you choose that, and if you choose, why would you choose that? So, they would like to see your position in relation to their competitors. So, you know the competitors not only for that, but also to know if you are joining this organization, how better you can lead the company, take the company ahead of that competition. So, in that sense, it is better to know the competitors and the reputation that the company has built up. How did it do? So, some companies have the reputation of building trust. Some company has the reputation of speaking the truth, whatever happens. Some company has the reputation of just smiling with service, just customer friendly, and so on. What kind of reputation that the company has built up, and look for any recent major changes, such as the retirement of a very important person in the company, the death of the person who established the company, and let us say there is fight among the young group to own the company. There is talk that the company is going to split up. Now, look for these recent major changes that will also help you to size up about the company's future prospects. Now, try to discover information about the person who you will meet, such as the background, the style and education. After the interview, for instance, you may be asked to meet that particular person. He may be the chairman, he may be the managing director, he may be the chief executive officer, whatever it may be. They may say that our interview is in two process. One interview we are having the panel that will assess the information. There is another interview in which you will actually meet the real person, the employer who is going to hire you for the job. Now, identify this person, know something about this person, especially the person's likes, dislikes, and what kind of style, what kind of management style that he possesses, how does he function, etc. What is the person's education level? Is he a self-made man? Is he not that educated? Is he the person who didn't have that formal education, but then he did extremely well? And then or is he the person who has all good qualifications, some MBA degrees from abroad, and then experience from some reputed foreign companies, multinational organizations, and then he's just come back to India for the sake of being an Indian citizen and then establishing something in India and promoting the country. So, identify his education and the spirit behind the education that he possesses. Now, having said that, you should know about the company, so much so about it, knowing the company, knowing the organization, the style, the functioning, the person who is involved in it. Then the next big question, or it is the major big question, is about knowing yourself. Remember the dictum that Socrates was spreading among his disciples. So, whenever they asked so many questions about philosophical truths in the world, he kept on saying only one thing. He said, know thyself, know yourself first. In knowing you, you will be able to understand the world. In knowing you, what he meant, know your assets, know your limitations, know your fluctuations as a human being. Today you talk about something as an ideal and tomorrow you change your mind completely. Today you talk about lot of things as if you are Gandhi, and tomorrow you are suggesting something which sounds like you are following somebody like Hitler. Now, this is human tendency. So, Socrates said, know yourself. Why are you changing? Is that change a symptom of growth or a symptom of decline? So, know yourself. Now, as far as interview is considered, when we say know yourself, know your gifts and talents. Know what you can give to the world. The best books written by positive thinkers like Dale Carnegie, they all preach you one thing. They say that without giving service to the world, you cannot get back the riches that the world is going to offer you. Now, identify what talent and what gifts that you have got which you can give it to the service of mankind and take back rich rewards from them. Now, in that sense, you should know yourself. What is it that I am good at? What is my unique selling point? How can I distinguish myself from the rest of the others? So, think about it. I will come to the same question after some time, but right now let me address the issue generally. Know yourself. Make sure whether you want just a job or the right job that builds up your career. Now, what kind of distinction I am making between just a job? When I want just a job, I am jobless and I am very desperate for a job that will support me financially, that will give me money so that I can take care of the basic needs such as food, shelter and clothing. Okay. And then slightly my other emotional needs. I may satisfy my parents, I may satisfy my friends by giving them some gifts, and I may slightly prosper in that job so that I can get married, I can buy a vehicle. So, slowly I can improve. So, when I say that I just look for a job, I am desperate for my financial status, I need some money so that a job will support me. Now, this is at one level, but there are people who still think of this even when they have reached a higher level, maybe just out of greediness, maybe just out of over ambition, they still look for a job that will give them maximum benefits and maximum financial benefits and perks. Job just on the basis of financial perks, the lucrativeness that the job will give. Now, are you looking for just this job, or are you looking for a career? Now, when you look for a career, you are actually looking for the right job to position yourself. You know that starting at that job will help you financially, but then to continue with that job is going to mar your career, because you are not meant for that kind of organization. You have something else in you which only a particular kind of company can nurture and develop. So, you should actually get into that company, however tough the job interview is, however high their expectations are, you should get into that kind of organization. Often it's environment that determines our thinking, our functioning. Put yourself in very bad environment, it can condition your thinking. There are of course people who have defied the environment, who have revealed the inner qualities and then always come out of the very poor environment. So, consider them as exceptions, but normally environment can have a very good or very bad influence on you. So, put yourself in a job situation where the environment is very bad, work environment is lousy, but they are paying you so highly, so that no other company is giving. So, for the money value that they are giving you, so you just bear it. But there is another company that is also taking lot of work, but you get lot of job satisfaction because it is challenging, demanding, and it is exactly meant for you. And everything that you do, you do not feel tired out, you do not feel fatigued, because you do something creative, and then every time you do something you come out, and then you feel that you are regenerating something, okay, reinventing yourself every time you are performing some task, as against the other job where you are there for money, and every time you do you are completely tired, fatigued, you feel frustrated, you feel that you should quit the job, but then just like the dog that is tied to the vomit, next day morning the boss calls, you feel that you should go and do the job and continue one more year, 2 more years, and then you slog, you go on like that, because the comfort that the money gives and the luxury that you have enjoyed, you feel that you cannot give it up. When you choose something for your career, you do not think of all the other benefits, but eventually these benefits also catch up with you, they also run after you. You do not have to run after them, but there is a point when you are going for the interview to decide whether you are for the job that gives you money or for the job that establishes your career, gives an identity and makes you realize your hidden potentials. Which one are you looking for? So, make yourself very clear. Do not pretend in the interview, do not pretend to your neighbors, friends that you are taking the job for something else. Be honest with yourself. Now, once you are sure about why you need it, then you should have a kind of attitude to suit yourself for the job. Look at the quotation from Muhammad Ali, so the boxing champion. He says something about championship. He says, to be a great champion, you must believe that you are the best. If you are not, pretend you are. To be a great champion, you must believe that you are the best. If you are not, pretend you are. So, in order to attend an interview, if you take cues from this quotation, what he says is, in case you think that you are not suited for the job, first level he says, assume that you are the best for the job, and in case you somehow realize that you may not be the best, he says that pretend that you are the best. Okay. Now, that positive pretension helps in keeping an attitude that will help you to perform well in the interview. Sometimes pretension itself will become true. You start believing in that pretension, you start having conviction that you are the best, So, who else? And then you give a very terrific performance that impresses the panel members, and they feel that of course you are the best, who else? Okay. So, it is a right tip that Muhammad Ali has given, that if you do not think you are the champion, at least pretend that you are. Keep that kind of attitude in your mind. Now, combined with that, keep asking these questions, keep analyzing yourself about what particular strengths make you different, what makes you unique. If you say that I am good at singing, now how good you are and how is that you are different from millions of other singers in the country. If you say that you are good at playing cricket, how good you are, what is your unique selling point. If I have to keep you in my team, why should I keep you? Are you good in bowling, or are you good in batting? What is it that for which I should keep? So, I should be able to see that clearly from you, and be ready to differentiate yourself. Given a chance, if you are even directly put this question, tell me why should I employ you? Because let us say I am a person who has come to take somebody from an institution like IIT, and then there are let us say 500 students in this institute itself who are giving the same interview, and then I just want to select only 5 students, and tell me, and of these 5 students I have 50 at least with 10 point, with extracurricular activity, with leadership qualities, with good communication skills, with good soft skills, and tell me why should I hire you among these 50. So, tell me, so you should be able to differentiate. So, keep that in mind. And then as far as the classroom situation is concerned, remember that your competition is sitting there in the classroom. First of all, try to develop a kind of one-up with your peer group that is in the classroom. The competitors are right there. Create a healthy competition, set mock interviews, attend that, you conduct for somebody, somebody will conduct for you, and then size yourself and your opponents, see where you stand. If you are on the high, still enhance your skills. If you are on the medium low side, keep improving your quality, keep having lots of mock interviews, keep asking these questions, identify the area. If you are lacking in communication skills, try to improve upon that area, and you need to know and understand your greatest strengths in relation to them. So, that will help you to distinguish yourself from the rest of the class. 90 in the batch, and how different are you from the batch? And if 89 students will ask you to do a job, what will be that job? And then if you have to define you in a single sentence, how would you define? If you have to say one thing about you that is unique in a single word, what could be that word? Could it be trustworthy? Could it be dependable? Could it be optimist? Could it be willpower, and so on? Ask about you. What is it that's going to differentiate you from the rest of the students who are sitting in the classroom? And then when the call letter has come, and just the night before the interview, spend some time with a well-wisher. So, the well-wisher may be your mother, sister, or an aunt, or an uncle, or a good friend, classmate, can be anybody, can be a teacher. Okay. So, spend some time with the person and talk to the person honestly, and the person usually happens to be a good listener if the person happens to be your well-wisher, and the person listens to you with an open mind without any prejudice, and to this person you tell why you think you are the best, why you think that you are most suited for the job. Now, if you can convince this person, and if the person is also agreeing to you, your view, you are almost sure to get the job, because sometimes it is easy to fool people in the interview panel, but it is not that easy to fool somebody who is your well-wisher, to whom you have never told a lie. So, if you can convince this person and if the person is able to accept you with all your limitations and despite that is able to acknowledge the fact that yes, you are the most suited one, I agree. If the person can tell you this, yes, you are again almost through your interview even before it starts. But this also helps you to warm yourself up psychologically. It is also giving you a kind of emotional balance. You get a feeling that, oh, my great friend, my well wisher thinks that I am the most suited one for the job. It does not matter whether the panel members think so or not. So, this is the most important thing that I needed in my life, and then this important person is thinking that I really deserve the job. I will go get it. Even if I do not get it, the fact that this person is acknowledging it, that is good enough for me. So, that also helps you to psyche things up, make yourself in a positive frame of mind. And then overall, before, that is the next day when you are going for the interview, and before you can possibly convince the interviewer that you are right for the job and you have to believe it in yourself. Before you trying to tell I am right for the job, have conviction in yourself, ask yourself, are you really the most suited person? Now, convince yourself by getting additional inputs about you, by reflecting on you, by pondering on your own talents, by recollecting an incident where you brought forth your conflict resolution skills, by bringing another incident where your leadership skills were on the top. Now, recollect such moments, recollect moments of victory where the whole universe came and applauded. So, think of those moments and then realize that yes, you are the one that suits the job most, and once you realize that, then you have enough material to convince the interviewer also. And overall, go with that killer instinct. Go with that killer instinct. Now, why do I say this? Because many people do not go there with that killer instinct. Even sometimes when people criticize Indian sports personality, they say that mostly they lack this killer instincts. Again, exceptions are there, they perform well even at any stage, but the general criticism is that Indians generally lack that killer instinct, especially at the last crucial moment. They may just accept defeat even before it comes to them, and then they may behave in such a manner, they play as if they have already given it up. But that killer instinct is that when you get into that arena, you go with that aim, attitude that whomever is the opponent, you are literally and figuratively going to kill that person, which means you will dominate, you will get through, come what may, you will see through the whole event, that you will emerge as the winner, and you are not going to give any small thing to chance. You will ensure it in all possibles using your strengths only. Okay. So, that is how you can go with that killer instinct. Now, when you go there, do not expect the interviewer to tell you why you are right for the job. That is indeed your job. It is your job to tell the interviewer that why you are right for the job. It is not the interviewer who is sitting there and telling you, I called you because I found these good qualities in you. No, you highlight the good qualities in you, which makes you right for that job. Then, when we talk about successful interview, you should understand that there is a kind of negotiation that is taking place in successful interview, negotiation between people who are equal. Now, how? You can see that as a kind of conversation between equals. On the one hand, you have your talent, your experience, and then your qualifications, for which you have spent lot of time and then developed some kind of expertise. So, you are offering actually a fruitful partnership to the company, not begging for some money. Now, only when you think that you are begging for some money, you develop a slavish kind of attitude, which is unwarranted, which is uncalled for. So, you should think that you are offering a fruitful partnership and not begging for money. Now, they are giving you money, but what is it that you are giving them? You are willing to give your time and expertise. For the money and status, the company gives you. Yes, of course, the company is giving you money, the company is giving you status, no problem. But and the company is so big, and then you can say that even getting a job, any kind of job in the company itself is changing your profile, changing your lifestyle, and getting lot of price from all the peer group, the whole society. Now, that is fine, but you are also giving something back. You are willing to spend the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Sometimes it so happens that you are so loyal to the company that you retire from the company. So, you let us say joined at the age of 25 and retired at 65, you spent about 40 years for the company. So, you are willing to give your time, you are willing to give your expertise, you are willing to let the company use your knowledge and gain lot of benefit out of it. Now, once you realize this, you are not just there just like that, you are there as an asset for the company. So, let them pay enough to get you there. So, do not have a kind of slavish mentality in which you just go and beg the person. Now, having said this, that preparing yourself with a positive frame of mind, identifying why you most suit the job, identifying the right job for building up your career, not the job that will just give you money. Now, knowing all these things, knowing about the company, knowing yourself, now you should go to the next level of interview, understand the purpose behind the interview. Now, in the next few slides, I will start talking about the purpose of the interview, and after discussing the purpose of the interview, I will also discuss with you some questions which are relevant to ask about the purpose and ask about your suitableness to that purpose of the interview. And if you understand the purpose, you will be also able to ask certain questions and get ready with the answers. So, I will just now talk about the purpose of the interview. Purpose of the interview. Now, what are the employers actually assessing you for in an interview? Basically, they are looking for your personality, looking for certain traits of your personality. So, it is about your personality. So, this means you develop your personality throughout, even before attending the interview. They are also looking for your communication skills, your ability to express views succinctly, clearly, lucidly, and then with proper enunciation. They are also looking for your communication skills. Your appearance. Now, appearance means a lot apart from just looking good, your body language also. We will talk about it later. And they want to see whether you fit into the organization. Would you suit the organization? When some of us are employed at a place like an institute like IIT, in humanities stream for instance, a person like me or a colleague of mine, we are all basically doing something in literature, out and out the literature people. And then when they want us to be selected, the qualification is masters, PhD in English, English literature. But when a person like this is selected for teaching engineering students, in the interview they would like to know whether the person would be interested in teaching something like communication skills, because there are some people who feel that it is not that good to teach communication skills, and the person feels I can teach only literature, I cannot teach anything else, or I love poetry, I will teach only poetry. Now, what they want to see is the suitability. Is this person flexible enough to mold according to the system, where certain basic skills are first prerequisites, such as English language skills and communication skills? Are you interested in doing something about it? have you done something about it? Do you have competency in developing a language lab, or do you have experience in language lab? Can you run a course which is intensely based on language lab? Now, these are the qualities that they would look for in a technological institute if they are going to employ a candidate who is basically literature oriented. So, that is what I mean by suitability. It can vary according to the discipline and the needs of the company. That is how they see whether the person fits into the organization. So, if the person does not fit, what is the point in holding that person in the organization? So, they may make a good discrete judgment at the beginning itself. So, they want to see this. Apart from that, the person's strengths as well as the weaknesses. There are some weaknesses, so that could be an asset to the company. So, for instance, the person works whole night, then they want somebody to stay there at night, and then they want somebody to enjoy being there also. So, they can just leave the company with the person. But there are some weaknesses, like this person always comes late to the company. So, the company starts, let us say at 7:30, the first shift is starting, and this person can be never given that first shift, and they want a supervisor or a manager in the first shift. So, this weakness, if it cannot be overcome, the person does not suit. So, they also want to know the weaknesses, which if it could be used to their advantage, it is fine. If it cannot be overcome, it cannot be used, they will have second thoughts. And then the person's attitude. As I have been telling in group discussion and generally about any topic on communication skills, the right and the only attitude is a positive attitude. They just want to see whether the person has a negative attitude. And as I have been repeatedly saying, there is enough negativity in the world, there is so many negative thinkers in the world, and there must be lot of negative thinkers already in the organization. They just want to see whether you have that positive frame of mind to work in an environment where already there are plenty of negative thinkers, whether you have the right attitude. You see, because the same situation, different people will react differently. So, the optimist will always look at the bright things in life, whereas the pessimist, the negative thinker, will always see something wrong in it. So, they do not want you to be the person who always sees something wrong in it, but they want you to be the person who always comes with some solution to something that others are pointing out as a mistake. And if you are the solution maker instead of being part of the problem, and if that is somehow imbibed in your attitude itself, that is the right attitude they are looking for. Combined with that, interview is sometimes just about verifying your resume, verifying your biodata, verifying your CV, just to ensure that, yeah, you said that you are a 10 pointer, we just want to see the original certificates and ensure that you are the one. You say that you have some extracurricular talent in this, what did you do, how did you do, can you demo, can you give some demonstration on that. Okay. In some interviews like civil service interviews, when somebody says that my interest is in music, I am a singer, I can sing classical songs, they have been asked to even just sing for few minutes. Okay. So, they really want to assess, when you say that you have a talent, they want to see whether you have the talent really, whether you really have that in you. So, interview is sometimes just about that physical verification, checking your biodata, but that is at the basic level, but more than that it is checking your personality, your attitude, your fitness to the job. And once you understand this, you also try to modify your qualities accordingly. Now, so far I have not actually defined what an interview is, it is the right time to tell what an interview is in terms of definition. It is a formal consultation usually done to evaluate an individual's qualifications. It is a formal consultation usually done to evaluate an individual's qualification. So, instead of consulting you informally, they create a formal situation where they just want to look for some basic qualifications. And what are the basic qualifications that they are generally looking for? One, knowledge and proficiency in the field of study. I keep telling repeatedly that there is no shortcut to this point of interview or this point in group discussion or this point in any other selection procedure, because it's something that people cannot give you overnight by some kind of magic. Knowledge you need to develop, proficiency you need to enhance your skills in applying that knowledge that you have developed. So, knowledge and proficiency they just want to check. It is not just knowledge, but your proficiency, your ability to use it very well, and your work ethic. Do you have the positive attitude towards it, or basically you are a negative kind of person? Could you be corrupted, or you have strong values against corruption, etc. Compatibility, do you suit or not? Basically these are the three aspects that they generally look for, and then there are certain other things that they look for also. In detail, if you look at it overall, apart from the strong work ethic, when I say that, what do they look for in that? They look for professionalism, commitment, keenness, sincerity, integrity. Integrity is honesty, not even stealing one small pin from the office, not even taking that fevistick, glue stick, not even taking papers. So, thinking that no, this is not my property, if it is given to me it is a different thing, but then I will not use office property for my personal one. So, strong work ethic, which means professionalism, commitment, keenness, sincerity and integrity, self confidence, strong communication skills. If you recall the lessons on communication, I was trying to make a difference between communication and effective communication, and I highlighted the fact that we are all communicators. Okay. And if you look at how we are behaving as a human being, 24/7 we are communicating verbally or non-verbally. We keep talking to people, we keep sending signals to others, and then we transact all the time. But the important thing is, do we communicate effectively? Are we good communicators? Are we doing that in a very strong manner so that we do not lose anything to noise, we do not cause any barriers to communication, and we get the results without any loss of communication, without any communication gap or miscommunication. So, if you possess strong communication skills, you are a person who will get things done effectively using your communication skills, and absolutely there is no miscommunication when you are doing it. So, they want to check whether you have strong communication skills, not just communication skills, and then they want to see your motivation, initiative. There are people in the office who think that, oh, we can do the job if the manager tells us, and then there are quite a few of the people in the same office who take initiative to do it whether the manager or somebody tells them to do or not. So, motivation, initiative, self motivated individual. People say that if you want to know the managerial skills of a person, go to the office when the person is not there. Now, if the person's managerial skills are bad, what will happen when the person is not there? Whether he may be a principal or director or CEO or manager or supervisor, when the person is absent, you will find people coming late, you will find people bunking work, you will find people going early, you will find people working in a very sluggish manner, you will find people doing empty chatting, gossiping, going for tea frequently, sitting just in the canteen and whiling away their time, watching something on computers, video, internet, listening to songs, playing cards, doing anything else other than focusing on job. The moment somebody says the manager is coming, his car has entered into the office, everybody will go and pretend that they are doing the work. Now, if the manager is good and skilled, again you can assess the skill in his managerial functions when the person is absent. Here you will find workers coming in time, in fact coming before time when the manager is not there, seriously seated on the chair, not wasting their time, focusing on the job and finishing the target, and even trying to finish the target ahead of time. Now, this manager has somehow caused a kind of influence, caused motivation, given them some kind of implicit values which they use it even in his absence. Okay. Now, motivation and initiative, if it is there, if it is self driven, so it is very good. Even without the manager, the person will work. So, this is something that they would like to look for. Then evidence of leadership skills, organizational skills, adaptability, flexibility, ability to work in teams. I said more about this in group discussion, because somebody will be good to work as an individual, but not possessing the ability to work in teams. Interpersonal relationship relates well to others. Nowadays, the business environment can be very positive and potential for healthy relationships, but can be very harmful. How? If there is one person who is poisoning the environment, who is not able to relate well to others, who is negative, who is bickering, who is complaining all the time, the person can spoil the environment. So, nowadays there is focus on interpersonal relationship, quantitative analytical skills. So, whether the person is able to use logic, analyze the things, and then apply that in practical dealing with tasks. Meticulousness to details. So, there are people that who will expect that each and everything should be told to them, and then there are others only you said something vaguely, and then they have come out with all intricate details possible, and everything has been taken care of. So, the manager is asking, so I thought of telling you this. The person says, yeah, I have done it. Oh, good. And what about this? Yeah, that has also been taken care. So, meticulousness to details, attending to the minute level even without being asked to, it is something that is there in the blood of the person, something that he has inherited as a kind of work ethic. So, that is something that they are looking for. Friendliness and accessibility. Friendliness does not mean that you give up your work ethics, but it is combined with accessibility. There is a problem. Whom would I look for in the organization? So, immediately let us say there are about 50 workers. A small thing like there is a virus in my computer, or my printer is not working, and I am not technically so good. Who would I immediately look for? I know that so and so, if I go, however busy that person is, would at least spare a minute and then check and come and sort out the issue. So, I see that the person is friendly in that sense, accessibility. I also know that there is another person who is technically much more intelligent than this person, but I dare not approach him because he will get angry. He is a short tempered fellow. So, how do co-colleagues assess this kind of situation? Because they assess by this accessibility. They know that they can go to their friend or they should not go. Tact and diplomacy. You are part of the decision making process, and then you come out of that, and immediately people are asking you, tell us what did the manager decide. Immediately you blurt out some very important things. You lack tact, you lack diplomacy. Tact is knowing what to do, what to say, when to say that, and diplomacy is sometimes even saying the things in such a manner that you cannot be misquoted later. You are just trying to be politically correct and make only those statements which are not quoted again to your embarrassment. So, your tact, your diplomatic also. Now, combined with this, in terms of qualifications, they just want to check whether do you have the required skills, knowledge or background to do the job. The questions that you might be asked in terms of qualifications are, why do you feel you would be good at this job? So, again your unique selling point you have to highlight here. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? I will talk more about strength and weaknesses very soon. How has your work experience or education prepared you for this position? So, sometimes you have a qualification and you seek a position which do not match that easily. Just try to show them some connection or try to show them some kind of extra degree that you have done that will connect you to the work position. So, you should be able to think over these questions in terms of qualifications and then be prepared, especially focusing more on strengths and weaknesses, and then you are just slowly in that mode of preparation, and this, as I said, will start giving you the confidence that is required for facing a very tough interview situation. I will continue in the next lecture with more questions, with more items related to preparing, and then I will follow it up with how you can actually get into the interview room. As I was telling in the previous lecture, many people consider interview room as a kind of torture chamber and think that there are monsters sitting and then they are just waiting to eat them up. Now, how to get rid of these inhibitions will be the focus on the next lecture. So, till then I say bye, and I request you to review these questions, think about them, and I will continue in the next lecture. Thank you so much.